everybody. Just wanted to let you know we'll get started exactly on time at 11:30. Thank you for your patience. Be right back. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Healthy Relationships Are in Your Power. You make the decision. Today's program. My name is Jay Silver. I'm your producer for today. And during the presentation, you may ask questions at any time by using the Q&A button on your screen. Now, there's also a chat button that you may use to communicate with presenters and attendees, similar to a discussion board. Now, when sending a chat, you have the option to send it to just the presenters or to panelists and all attendees. Presenters will respond to questions in the Q&A box, so be sure to put your questions there. And if you need assistance at any time, you can also use the Q&A box. Thank you, and now I'll turn it over to today's presenters to get started.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. And I know some people are probably having some trouble getting on, and we'll keep working on that. So welcome to everybody. I know there's some familiar faces out there, even though I can't see you. And we're going to get, pretty much started pretty quickly about our conversation about healthy relationships. And since we don't have a whole lot of time, we're going to jump right in. So I think there'll be a PowerPoint maybe, I'm not sure, but I'll keep talking and get right to it. So as you see, we have Germaine Payne, Nikki Cara-Jones, and hopefully soon Thelma Green as our panelists today to talk about healthy relationships. They're all part of Project Action. And Project Action is a self-advocacy coalition of adults with developmental disabilities that was formed over 30 years ago in DC. Project Actions meet and they educate one another and work together to make positive changes for themselves and their peers. Quality Trust for Individuals with Disabilities is an independent, nonprofit advocacy organization that works to ensure that people with disabilities live the best lives possible. Our mission is to create a community where all people are valued, respected, and part of the community. So even though Thelma's not here, I'll wait to introduce her, or maybe she'll get here after we finish some of the introductions. So Nikki Jones is a strong advocate and businesswoman. She works to support newer self-advocates learn how to advocate for themselves. She believes everyone has something important to share and can be supported to do so. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Judith.
Great to have you here. And then we have Germaine Payne, who is also a strong self-advocate and has worked for over 20 years at Kennedy Institute. She mentors people in their career journeys. Hi, Germaine. Put on your mic. Germaine.
Germaine? Hello.
Oh, hi, good, because we want everybody to hear what y'all have to say. And my name is Judith Karsevar. I'm employed at the Quality Trust, and I'm the project coordinator for Project Peer 2, which is a project funded by the Office of Violence Against Women, This project's, we ensure that women and now men, OBW has allowed men in now, with this developmental disabilities receive any kinds of support, accessible sexual assault supports, which is something that you all know doesn't happen all that easily right now. And I'm going to briefly talk, and then we're going to get into our conversation about the Women's Knowledge Group, which was created in 2014 as part of Project Peer, the first time Project Peer was around. This group was created training curriculums for staff and women with disabilities, 2 power and control wheels, and training tools. And we'll be sharing some of these things with you. Thelma, Nikki, and Germaine were a part of this original group and remain a part of the group in one capacity or another, even today, many years later. They're a group of amazingly strong and brave and outspoken women who led the way in developing and piloting trainings to increase what women with disabilities know about sexual and domestic violence. So thank you all so much. We really would not be here without you. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce Thelma, even though she's not here, but I'll tell her that she was introduced. She is also an extremely strong advocate. She trains locally, nationally, and now hopefully virtually on many subjects. She wants to ensure that people who do not use words or have trouble using words have an advocate to help them. She enjoys mentoring newer self-advocates. So let's get right to it. I feel badly that that we're not going to have Thelma's voice right away, but we can keep up, can't we, everybody? Yeah. We'll make sure that we save space for her. A little bit more through the trainings that everybody did. They work to engage self-advocates to share their unique perspectives on issues related to sexual violence with each other and staff, including how to support survivors. These discussions eventually led to discussions and trainings about healthy relationships. And these conversations led to the creation of our Project PO Healthy Relationship Wheels. Again, we're going to share them with everybody. We developed 1 power control wheel for personal relationships with family, partners, friends, that used original drawings that were pretty amazing. So it was most accessible to as many people as possible. We also then developed another power control wheel for paid staff and other caregivers to look at these relationships and how people should be treated by staff. Throughout this discussion, Germaine, Nikki, and Thelma are going to share their experiences about what it was like to create these tools and trainings as only they can. So let's begin our conversation, okay? And and these are our power and control wheels. I'm sorry, and again, they're pretty amazing. One side is all the words, and then the other wheel kind of describes what the words mean in great graphic design. And if we have time at the end, we can talk about them in more detail. They're available to anybody who wants them. And if you have any questions about how they've been used and how they were created in more detail, please just get in touch and we will be glad to talk to you. Okay, so, and again, the other thing I want to say is that we may or may not have time at the end for more questions and answers, and we'll just see how it all goes. So are we ready to start our conversation? Germaine, Kara?
Yeah.
Yep, you're all ready? And can you turn on your camera, Nikki, so we can see you, if that's okay?
So we've been trying to, and they're working on the technicality now.
I see. Okay. I certainly understand all that. So anyway, so let's see. Like I said, we're going to be talking today about healthy relationships with family, friends, and partners, and with paid staff and other caregivers, and how sometimes they're different and how sometimes they might feel the same. We'll also be talking about how and why the Women's Knowledge Work Group finally realized they needed to create these 2 separate wheels to describe these sometimes different relationships. So anyway, let's start our conversations with Germaine, I'll start with you since you're at the top of my screen. So can you describe to people what a healthy relationship and what an unhealthy relationship means to you, and how do they make you feel?
Okay. An unhealthy relationship means to me is not to have no fussing and not to have no fussing with anybody and try to discuss it out.
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
If you have
There you are.
a disagreement.
So an unhealthy relationship would be if you can't work through your disagreements?
Yeah.
And what would a healthy relationship look like, and what would it make you feel like a healthy relationship?
A healthy relationship means to me being a happy.
Okay. And I'm going to remind you, because we all decided if you forgot stuff, you had said something about that it's also when people respect you.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little about that? Like, what does it mean to be respected?
Yes, it will be grateful to have somebody to respect you. If you don't have nobody to respect you, you can't go back on that decision making.
Okay. And I think you also said something about trust. Where does trust fit in?
And you got to trust that person. Huh? You got to trust that person by letting him know how things will go and your health and everything.
Now, do you think it looks a little different when you're talking about family and friends and staff? Are there differences?
Yeah.
Can you tell folks what you think they are, those differences?
You will have your if you have one person with you, you will have your parent, which is your mom. You will have her around you.
And that's somebody that you trust.
Yeah. And that's somebody you could trust and talk to and help you.
Okay. And you said something that I loved. One of our, when we were all talking before this, he said, a good relationship, a healthy relationship to you means that somebody's not giving you the what? Do you remember what you said? I can tell you, and it's what you said, and it was perfect. You said a healthy relationship with somebody is when that person's not giving me the blues.
Okay.
Right. So, and that was perfect. And I think it's so true.
And that gets on my nerves.
Right. So an unhealthy relationship would be somebody who gets on your nerves and doesn't listen to you and respect you. And a healthy relationship is someone where you can have disagreements and get through those disagreements without making anybody feel badly.
Yes.
Right? And I think I hear you saying that that is true with both a personal relationship and a relationship with a staff person.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you, Germaine. I want to go over to Nikki now, and we'll come back and forth. And if you want to not interrupt, but if you have something to say, like if Nikki says something you want to respond to, make believe that this is just, we're sitting around the table like we used to, and we're just having a conversation. Even though I know it doesn't feel like that, try to kind of think about it that way. Okay? So Nikki, I have the same question for you. What do you feel an unhealthy relationship is, and how does it make you feel? And how do you feel, how would you describe a healthy relationship and how it makes you feel?
Well, healthy, I just think, if they want us to, I think, say bye-bye. And if they do, we come back to me and say, I'm sorry.
Okay. If they don't want to listen to me, I say bye-bye.
That's it. You said that, Nikki.
And
I
if
remember
they-
when you said that before. You said if anybody hurts you, whether it's physically or emotionally, it's bye-bye, right?
Yes.
And that shows how strong you are.
If they don't want to listen to me, I just go away.
Good for you. And is that true? Go ahead. Sorry.
If was a good relationship or a bad relationship.
So any kind of relationship, whether it's staff or family or friends, if they don't listen to you or they're hurtful, bye-bye. Right?
Yeah.
Good for you. We all should take that as a lesson. I like it. So you had also talked about something about respecting boundaries and privacy, and that you control your own story. You remember that?
Yeah, because people always want to know, can I write my own story? Can I tell my own story? I said no, because once you put it out there, once I put it out there, I'm not going to be able to take nothing back.
I missed part of that because my sound over here is a little wonky.
Once they asked me to tell my story, once they asked me to tell my story, they asked me to tell it. Once it's out, I can't take it back. If they change it.
Okay. Okay, good. So, but the other thing that you had said so many good things, that you like it when people ask how they can help you rather than tell you what they're going to do, right? They ask what you need.
Yeah. They ask me what I need, so tell me what I need.
Right. So you tell them what you need.
Yes.
And one of the other things you had said was standing up for yourself.
Yes.
And you're making it really clear that that's exactly what you do. You know, you stand up for yourself in a relationship and you don't take any crap from anybody, right?
Yes.
Germaine, did you want to say something?
No. Tell her no.
No? Okay. So I think that Nikki and Germaine basically are saying similar things. Respect is extremely important. And if you don't get that respect, you don't feel trust. And if you don't have trust in a relationship, whether it's with family or friends or a partner or staff, then it's, if you don't have that in a relationship, it's just not healthy. Did you feel like you knew about this stuff before you entered in the women's knowledge group? Or did you learn things from that?
I learned stuff, but or I went into it, but
Yes,
I also learned stuff where I was co-teaching it.
Say the last part again, please.
I also learned how to deal with it when I was in class.
Yep.
When I was co-teaching it.
And when she was co-teaching it,
I'm sorry, Joan.
when she was co-teaching it.
Yep. We learned a lot together during those trainings, didn't we?
Yeah.
How do you think so too, Germaine? Do you remember the trainings and how we all learned from each other?
yes.
Yep.
Yes. I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know. And it was given to me when I had learned it in the trainings.
Yep. Yeah, they were pretty. So since we're talking about the trainings now, and unfortunately Thelma is still not here. And again, hopefully she'll get here soon and we'll go back and ask her the same questions. But let's talk about the trainings and the Women's Knowledge Work Group. And what that was like to be a part of that. And you're still part of that. Do you remember when we were all talking about relationships, healthy relationships? What is a healthy relationship? And we got all kind of jumbled up because we were talking about healthy relationships with family and friends and partners at the same time, in the same way as we were talking about relationships with paid staff and other caregivers. And we were getting really confused. Remember, nothing seemed to fit. Rules seemed different. And do you remember the parking lot?
Yes.
Who wants to describe what the parking lot was?
I got full.
It got full. And would you like me, what we called the parking lot when we came up with questions and situations where we just couldn't figure out how to respond to them, we put it in what we called the parking lot. So they were there so we could talk about them later.
Yeah.
Right? Nikki, do you remember that too? I know Germaine does.
Yeah, we also had, we also put talk about to fit.
We put
it in the parking lot until it fits.
That's right, we did. And that parking lot would get full and then it would empty out a little bit and then it would get full again. But we finally came up with those two great wheels, right?
Yeah.
Two separate wheels. There was an aha moment at one point where we said, oh my gosh, this is why it's not working. It's not the relationships, even though sometimes they might feel the same and sometimes staff feel like family, they're not the same. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I remembered it. So do you want to talk a little about the wheels?
Well, sure. The have um the will the staff will have the staff will have um all the staff only that come that you come
It's in my right book.
who help you and who also they become your family if your family but they become your family if your family but around you.
So I think I heard you saying the first wheel was with family, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that looked different than the one, and that was about equality, right? Like everybody is kind of treated the same in a way,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
And now the wheel that we see up here is the one with staff, support staff, and other caregivers. And, you know, there are differences. Do you want to talk about some of them?
the night you want to talk about something.
You when you get a staff person and what they think they might try to help you to get things that need to be working. If you had to be working on some money to be put away, you the staff person need to help you with that, how to put it away.
Right. So let me ask this a different way. So if you want to do something and the staff person says, no, I don't want you to do it. I don't think it's good for you. I don't think it's what you should do, but you really want to do it. Who gets the right? Who has the final say?
I do.
Okay. Thank you, Germaine. That's clear. How about you, Nikki? Who has the final say?
I do too.
Yeah. Because it's not about what a staff person or anyone thinks that you need. It's what you need. It's what you think you need.
It's your choice.
That's right. It's your choice. Absolutely.
They can give their opinion.
Right. They can give their opinion, but it's your choice. Right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that when we talk about equity, it's a word that can be confusing, but basically what it means is that sometimes people are not given the same opportunities as other people to experience certain things, right?
Mhm.
So sometimes people need a little more help or a little more assistance, a little more education, a little more support to safely experience things. Right? I mean, when we were talking when the trainings, remember when we did the trainings and how many women in the trainings have never had sex education and didn't know what a healthy relationship was or should be or needed to be?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And do you remember those conversations?
yeah. They was like, oh, I could tell you stuff. Yeah, you could tell me stuff. And people be like, they be like, you could tell me stuff. Some people told me they can't tell stuff.
Right. they had nobody to go to, right? To talk about things and have to answer questions.
But they came to me and fell into me
I asked you.
and said, we came back to you and care and we came back to you and care. We have a discussion about it.
Right. And that's something that a lot of people never had the opportunity to do before, right? To talk honestly and openly about feelings about healthy relationships and sexual relationships, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you created in the work group those amazing training sessions, like we were talking earlier, for staff and for women with disabilities. Can you talk a little bit about how it made you feel to be able to do those trainings? Either Germaine or Nikki, whoever wants to go.
It had made me feel very good to helping somebody else.
Yeah. And do you feel that people actually learn? I mean, what do you think people, when they were done, because it was a 9-week training session, I mean, nine separate sessions. And do you think people walked away from them learning things?
More, I think they will learn more better if you talk to them.
Right. How about you, Nikki? What do you think? Do you think people after 9 weeks felt like they really learned stuff?
Yeah, because after the party, they came back with like, can we have more? Then we came to you, we're like, okay, okay. Look, they said they want more. We want
They wanted more. Yeah, they were pretty amazing, powerful sessions. And I just wanted to remind you of some of the things that you said. You said that they were fun to do. You could talk about sex and relationships and feel good about that. You learn how to be with a partner in a supportive way. Staff learned that everybody is human and we all have feelings and needs like everyone else. Everybody learned, especially staff, that we're not children and we have those needs. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think that everybody was given or has the same chance to experience that part of life, like a relationship? Do you feel that people are given those opportunities?
No.
Yeah.
Some of them are, some of them not, because they are not on the group home.
Yeah. And so what do you think happens if people aren't given education and trainings and opportunities to have healthy relationships? Do you think people then go out and do things that are unhealthy because
Yes.
they don't know?
Yes.
Okay, well, you know, I am going to say something that I'm afraid that Thelma just might not get on. She had said something in one of our talks that you can't stop people from being human, right? Remember when she
Yes.
said that? You can't stop people from being human. We all make mistakes. We all have to experience life to learn so that we know what is healthy and what is unhealthy for you. And people are better able to make choices with more information and opportunities to talk with people who respect us like adults.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody in the audience there, can you raise your hands to let us know if you agree with that. Do you think that the statement that Thelma made is true?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Let's see, anybody raising their hands? Nothing yet. But one of the things I want to go back to now, because I just got a message that Thelma is still having trouble. I want to share some of the things that Thelma said. So even though she's not here, she kind of, at least her ideas will be here. When we talked about healthy and unhealthy relationships, Thelma said, feeling loved when you love someone and they love you back. You can agree or disagree and get along through agreements and disagreements with staff or your partners without hurting each other. These things are not one-sided. She said that she would mention she has a boyfriend, James, and a staff person who's been with her forever. And she was going to talk about how they all created and grew into really healthy relationships with each other, that they balance each other out. They listen to each other. And she said something that about decision making that her mother had said to her, and it's, if you fall and bump your head, well, that's your head. It's your decision. So those are some of the things that Thelma had said. And since we do have a little bit of time, I wanted to ask something else that's very pertinent, I think, to today. And during this time of everybody being stuck inside because of the pandemic, how do you think technology has affected healthy relationships? Thelma, Germaine or Nikki, how do you think it's affected being able to have healthy relationships?
Because, like, if you do, if you do computer, you ask for help, but if you need the iPad, you ask for help.
So even if you ask for help to get on the computer, people have to step away, right? If you need privacy,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And how about you, Germaine?
We can't have personal contact with one another.
And that's
And
hard, isn't it?
it's very hard. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially when technology doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you both had said, and Thelma had said, that staff and family might need to leave the room when I'm on the phone or on a meeting on Zoom, right?
Yes.
And sometimes that's hard to do if you live in a small space, or if your computer is set up in a room where everybody is. And you need to train people who work with people in group homes and apartments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We do have a question in the question box, and it's from Raquel. And
Hi.
it says,
Wow.
our movement includes advocacy work about getting more people with disabilities in the workforce. What advice do you have for people with boundaries, whose boundaries are not being respected at work or in other professional spaces, like committee meetings and things like that? Do you have an answer or any way you want to respond?
You want me? I could respond, but if they
Say it.
if they don't respect the person's boundaries, they have to go to another way to handle that.
What we can handle it.
By going to another
You want to hear it again?
Another person or another way to handle it.
Okay. And I know that you, Nikki, would definitely have the strength, right, to just say that. How about you, Germaine?
Need to ask the question again.
The question was, our movement includes advocacy work around getting more people with disabilities in the workforce. In other words, getting jobs. What advice do you have for people whose boundaries are not being respected at work or in meetings? It's okay if
They are not with people that don't have jobs. They need to try to get job from RSA or go down to the employment building to find themselves a job.
right. But what happens when you get a job and if people don't respect what you need, like boundaries and things like that? What should you do?
You
Speak
tell
up.
you
Speak
tell
up.
them you need a job.
No.
The
You
boundaries. You need the space.
No. Can I help you today?
Say again?
Can I help today?
Yes.
Speak up. Speak up. If they can't, speak up. Speak up. Look,
They don't speak up.
She said they have to speak up.
Right. That's
and
right. We all do,
if
right?
they can't speak up, they could go find someone who could speak up for them.
Right. That's right, Nikki. If they can't speak up for themselves, they can find a trusted person who can help them do that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So listen, I've been told we only have a couple minutes left. So I was reminded as I was talking to you all about one of the things that we did at the beginning of each of our trainings. And do you remember this? It was you talking about your 3 basic rights, and it was to be respected,
Yeah.
to be safe, and to be who you are. Do you remember we used to say that at the beginning of each meeting and each
Yes.
training?
You
Yeah.
important.
You are important.
You are important.
Yeah, that's right. And well, let's explain to everybody the other one that we did. Somebody would say, I am important, and you would say,
You are important.
We are important.
right. And we would say that throughout the meetings, right? To remind everybody that everybody's important,
Yeah.
right? And we're in our own ways. And I think we're just about done. There was a question that I couldn't find on the Q&A, and I apologize for that. I looked for it and I couldn't find it.
If you click the answer tab, you'll see it there.
Answer tab. Where is that?
At the top of the Q&A box.
Huh. Okay. I'm a researcher interested in sexuality. We have not conducted a real evaluation, I don't think, about the curriculum's effectiveness. We wanted to, we intended to, but I don't think we ever did a formal evaluation. It would have been a good thing to do. And we may do this time around because we'll be doing a similar type of training during this current grant that we have. It'll be a little different, but a lot of it will be the same. So thank you for that question. But we know just from anecdotal experiences that it has made an impact, but with people. So thanks for that question. So again, thank you all so much. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you ladies, for sure. And we all miss Thelma, but we'll make sure we tell her that it was good and we got her answers on too. So thank you so much.
Bye, Judith.
Bye, thank you.
And I want to thank everyone who joined us today. It is time for us to end the session so we can prepare for the next one. And I want to thank our presenters for a very informative and interesting discussion. This is Jay Silver, and I'll see you in the next session. Take care, everyone.
Was that me?